Hi, I'm Matt Tengler, the VP Product at Jumptap. Today we're going to talk about the challenge and the opportunity that is created by the new reality that is the cross-screen consumer or the digital omnivore. If you think about how you spend your digital time, it's most likely spent across multiple devices, whether that's your PC or laptop at home, your tablet, or your smartphone. And the challenge for advertisers is those three different devices can look like three different users, which means the advertiser is having three different conversations with the same consumer. The opportunity is to reassociate or bridge those devices back together so you can have one conversation with that consumer. This is a huge challenge and huge opportunity. In fact, ComScore estimates that there's 112 million of these digital omnivores just in the US today. And when we talk about this with our partners, for the most part, they understand this. They see this opportunity. And the question we always get is how? How do you actually go about moving from this fragmented conversation into this bridged single conversation with the consumer? So we're going to spend most of the time today talking about the three different approaches that we see in market and talk about how Jumptap uses those approaches to deliver a comprehensive cross-screen solution. The first approach we're going to talk about are logins. So if you're a publisher and you have connection points or touch points with a consumer on multiple screens, you can use that login to actually associate that user's devices back together and associate them back to the logical device owner. Now this type of login-based approach is highly accurate. You get high quality association or high quality bridges, but there's a tremendous scale problem there. Can you build enough to actually get a reach and a scale that's enough for an advertiser, a nationwide advertiser? The second approach you're going to see in the marketplace is third-party data. There's a whole ecosystem of third-party data providers out there that have anonymous IDs associated with devices. In the PC space, that's always associated with a cookie. The challenge in the mobile space is that for the most part there aren't cookies. So you need some other way to associate that third-party data onto the device. At Jumptap, we actually set out to solve this problem 2 years ago and tried to rebuild that rich online-offline ecosystem in mobile. And because of that, we have the business relationships and the technology that allow us to bring those data partner IDs onto mobile devices. And we can use those anonymous data partner IDs as a way to bridge those devices. Again, putting them back together so you can have that single conversation with the consumer. This approach, again, highly accurate, one-to-one in your associations, but still presents an overall scale challenge. The third approach, and the most popular approach, or the most common approach you're going to see out there, is device heuristics. And the reason it's the most common approach is because it's the easiest to scale. But it can have accuracy challenges. Depending on how you approach the problem, it can range anywhere from fairly inaccurate to extremely accurate. And the way we look at the accuracy problem, we generally break it out into three different groups. First, the algorithm. So what are the actual mechanics? What are the signals? What are the features you're looking at to actually make the decision? Is it the IP? Is it behavior on the device? Is it some other feature of the device that you're using to actually reassociate those multiple devices back into a single logical consumer? So what's the actual process you're using? Second, and probably more importantly, is what data do you have access to make these decisions? The more data and the better data you're pumping through your algorithms, the better decisions it can make. And the third point is having a gold standard, having some sort of ground truth to which you can actually measure your device heuristics, your estimation. Because at the end of the day, device heuristics are probabilistic. You're making some sort of educated guess that these multiple devices were all the same consumer. And unless you have a gold standard, some set of known users and known devices, you can't measure how well your estimation is. And you can't improve it over time. And at Jumptap, we've actually invested in all three of these areas. And the fact that we've invested in login and third-party data to drive these highly accurate relationships means that we have the gold standard and we can deliver a device heuristic solution that provides scale and it also is much more accurate if you don't have the ability to measure the quality of what you're actually estimating. So those are the approaches and the tactics you'll kind of see in the market. And the third point really is thinking about what you're buying. So when someone says cross-screen, the reality is they can mean many different things today. When we say cross-screen, we always are talking about the overlapping users. We're not talking about an online channel buy and an online mobile buy. We're actually talking about overlapped users, users who we know are active on both screens. And at Jumptap, through these three approaches, we've been able to identify 44 million users in the US who we know are active on both screens. Not devices, not any other estimation, but real actual users who are active on both devices. And then the next question is, what can you actually do with those users? Can you target them? So for example, we can bring data logics targeting, so that includes demographics, psychographic, behavioral information, onto these users, target a cross-screen user base with this advanced third-party data. There's also the question of reporting. What can you tell me about these users? Did they behave differently? What percentage of my users actually saw my advertising on both screens, and did that impact their behavior? So these types of challenges, this type of visibility, is important to understanding what the right solution for your cross-screen needs are. At Jumptap, we actually have leading CPG and automotive advertisers in market today with this solution, and we continue to invest in the business relationships, the technology, and the research that's going to drive this solution forward and allow us to solve this digital omnivore problem and turn it into an opportunity instead of a challenge for our advertisers.